Hey there, Phoenixes. Daniela Langford here of Redesign Your Life Forever, and welcome to another story time. Today's story time, we're going to be talking about how your mind holds you hostage. Literally, in the words of the Matrix, this place is a prison for your mind. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. What does that really mean? As in what's really going on around us, and what does that mean for you as far as living your life, problems that you're encountering, struggles that you're going through, and you don't know why you're struggling so hard. Well, I'm here to tell you that a lot of it has to do with a lot of subliminal programming that has been going on since time immemorial. And now we are finally getting to a place in consciousness and awareness to where we can finally see what's going on and start to address these things for our life, to better our lives, to redesign them, literally redesign them. That is the reason why I named my company Redesign Your Life, because there is intelligent design going on here, and it is up to us to take that and use that to redesign our own lives and our own experiences here on Earth. So what are we talking about here? Why your mind is holding you hostage. What on earth does that mean? Well, there's a lot of things that it means. In one way, it is your ego mind, that naysayer that we talk about in the group a lot. You hear me use that word naysayer, ego mind. That is literally the voice, that evil little asshole in the back of your head that has existed since you became self-aware of yourself at that certain age, when you became aware of yourself, and not only yourself, but other people's opinion of you, and equated to what other people's opinion of you was to safety, security, getting your needs met, getting love. That's a huge one, huge one. And that carries on with us throughout our lives and into our adult lives, of course, if we don't address it, if we don't realize what it is and work on ways to not combat it, but realize what it is and give it some love. And you can just say no. You can literally wipe that chip off your shoulder and just decide to not listen to it. Just like a bully in school, you can choose not to listen to it. So that is one way that our minds are holding us hostage, because we are living under preconceived notions of what other people have decided that we are. And that actually really 99.99999% of the time has no real bearing on who we actually are. What people have told us that we are and who we are, it really is not who we are. Sometimes it can be true, the reflections that people put back to you. They say, oh, you're a kind person, or this, that, or the other, or, you can be a bit of an asshole. Like whatever it is, there are some cases where, yes, you're true and close friends. They can see you, for what they are. Oh, Kitty wants to come in on the video too. And that is one thing. But 99% of the time, you are living under an assumption of what other people have assumed for you that you are. And that is very limiting. Very, very extremely limiting. Because 99% of the time, the people that have told you who you are the generation that has come before you. And that is neither good nor bad, here nor there in that sense. But they were not taught, a lot of the time, how to not be that way. How to not project what's going on within them onto other people. So when we're talking about he's trying to get in here. Stop, buddy. I see you. I hear you. Silly buddy. He wants to come. He wants to come and play, but I'm not going to let him come play because he's going to be all up in the middle of the camera because he's a camera hog like his mama. Bless him. Anyway, sorry. But point being is that we live our lives under these preconceived notions of what other people have told us that we are. And that's based off of their preconceived notions of what other people have told them that they are and what they should be and what the rules should be for them. And so it literally is this heinous trickle-down effect that has happened generation after generation after generation till we come to this point where we're like, well, shit, we're shit. Literally talking about, images in the media, the news, the kinds of people that get attention, the kinds of people that supposedly get customer service, all those kinds of things are dictated, by the generation that has come before us. And it is our opportunity and our honor, indeed, to be able to break out of that cycle and say, you know what? I understand what's happening. I see what's happened here. And I lovingly, not getting all attitudey about it, which, trust me, is hard. It took me a while to get past the injustice of it all and not be like indignant about it. Because you will go through a phase where you're like, what? And you get mad. But you lovingly say no. Say, hey, I don't have to participate in this. And that includes what's in your head. Yes, buddy, that's right. It includes what's in your head. So, he's still talking, bless him. It's in your head. So you're living your life from what other people have been taught and have been passed down. And it may not actually necessarily not only be who you are at all, but what is right for you, So, hold on, I got to go deal with him. Bless his little heart, he just wants some attention. So we can stop doing that. We can decide to not do that. And that is one of the big keys that I really impart when I work with people. And one of the biggest hurdles that that people overcome working with me is working through that inner ego, that inner naysayer that has literally been passed down to us. It is a form, is an amalgamation of all of these things that we have been told that we should be, regardless of what we actually are. And again, going back briefly, and this is a whole topic in and of itself. And again, if you hear me branch off into a topic, briefly that you really want me to go more in depth on, please, leave a comment in the comments and let me know, because, I take questions. I've been taking questions from you guys, and that helps, inform my list here of things that I'm going to be doing these shows and videos about. So your input, I want to know what you want to hear about. So if you hear something, they're like, oh, well, maybe that would be interesting to hear about, let me know. And I would love to have a chat about it to all of the group in this video format. So going back to media, speaking of which, that is a whole nother amalgamation of stuff that is telling us who we ought to be. And that keeps us in a prison of our mind. So it's called TV programming for a reason. And I'm gonna just let that sink in. Yeah. I know you think I'm crazy. Well, maybe you don't, because it's true. Let me get that little tinfoil hat, put it on pretty snugly. It is called TV programming for a reason, my loves. Okay? It is literally programming us as a species. And this is all with knowing and willful intent, to keep us in a very scattered, very traumatized, very self-loathing and self-doubt place, because they know, whoever is creating the programming, which is a whole nother topic we can get into, but we're not going to get into it here. They know how powerful the human being is. They do. And they are doing their damnedest to keep us, the rest of the human beings, from being able to use our abilities and our gifts that are natural and inherent to being human, like intuition. Okay, like manifestation. We are co-creators, my lovely phoenixes. There's a reason I call us phoenixes, okay? We are co-creators. We have an immense power to shape and manifest in our own reality. And if you don't believe this is true, think back to a period in your life where you really, really needed something to go through. And, you basically were just like, look, this is what I need. And, for all intent and purposes, and lack of a better expression, you gave it to God. Right? And then lo and behold, what happens? There it is, silver platter and all. Half the time, it's even better. The outcome is even better than you would have asked for. So think about those kinds of moments in your own life and realize that you are a immensely powerful, energetic, bioelectric, amazing, celestial, physical being. Okay? There's a lot of things going on here, and it would take a lot of time to get in depth into all the little intricacies. But really, the media, all of this mainstream media, all of the news, all of the NCISs and the crime reports and the Blue Bloods and the this and the that and the Chicago Fire and the Bachelorettes and things like, and all the reality TV, all of this stuff is literally, quite honestly, truly geared to keep us in a place that is scattered and schizophrenic and traumatized. And it puts us in a place where we can't use our power. It puts us in a place where we can't use our own willpower because we are so drained and so traumatized all the time, subliminally, energetically, that we can't function. And that's the point. That is why I took the TV out of my bedroom many moons ago, because it has actually been proven that just the TV sitting there, even if it's not even on, is actually putting out electric waves. I don't know if they're electromagnetic. I have to look up the article again. But they put out waves that actually do interfere with our electrical energetic field, much like this telephone that I'm talking to you on right now. And that's been proven over and over and over and over again, right? So what are you watching? What are you listening to? The music that you are listening to, whatever it is, the content that you are putting into your, not only your energy field, but your biofield and your physical being, because it all translates in and out, in and out. Energy is quantum. We're all quantum. That's another topic. But that is what is happening, is we are living under preconceived notions from other people that have been passed down to them, and living our lives for the, in the expectations of those other people, not being true to ourselves, and in conjunction with also being constantly programmed and constantly triggered by all of these things that we watch on the TV. Okay? Think about it. If you don't think it's true, think about it for a minute. You see all of these shows, and yes, they're wonderful and they have amazing storylines and they give people jobs and all the wonderful things, but the point is the content. Content. I can't say it enough. Is what is it that you are putting into your energy field? Think about it. All of these shows, particularly like the crime dramas and stuff. We'll go with crime dramas for number one. Is that, any time in particular, there is a woman being kidnapped and tortured, or a child goes missing or is killed. Feel that. Do you feel that? I feel it. And I'm just talking about it, much less actually physically watching it. It's traumatizing, okay? Particularly for us as women, particularly for us as sensitives and energetics and star children. We're really fucking sensitive to all that shit. And they know that. So by perpetually putting that in our field, they are keeping us traumatized. They are keeping us in that energy of trauma, of fear, of like that feeling, that tightness in the chest that you get when you think about the idea of a woman being kidnapped and brutally beaten and taken out into the desert. All of these things that they show on the fucking TV. How is that not traumatizing to you? And you're watching it every day. Every day. Phoenixes, okay? So when we're talking about this place as a prison for your mind, and that you are a hostage of your mind, we're talking on the soul level, you as an individual, soul spark, the being that is actually giving us life into this physical vehicle, okay? Like a car, right? That is the real you, not this, okay? Here. And that is being perpetually traumatized by seeing and witnessing and hearing all of these things over and over and over. And again, in the news, what is it? Always bad news. Okay? Is it starting to come together for you all? Because this is a huge thing. And if you want to be able to start to change how you feel, which is where I'm getting to in this video, and I know it's running long, but this is very important. Stop watching so much TV. And not don't stop watching so much TV, but, well, that too. Get outside. Don't get me wrong. Go ground yourself, But what is it that you're watching? Are you watching crime dramas, where they're constantly showing us very traumatic things? Are you watching reality TV shows and like Bachelorette and things like that, where there's constant emotional mental betrayal of the heart and emotions, and just God, just the muck that, you know, that they're putting out there as this is what is normal, okay? Think about that. That's what they're putting out as normal. Just like all the models that get airbrushed, they're putting that out as, you know, the idealized standard of beauty. Think about that, okay? Think about what that does to your psyche, what that does to not only your mindset, but then, of course, as we've talked about before, how your mind and your energetic field influences your physical body, okay? So this is all coming together. It all influences one another. So if you're watching those crime dramas and you're watching The Bachelorette and you are constantly watching the news, you know, because it is a fucking train wreck. You can't, you know, you can't look away, and they do that on purpose. If you're watching all of that and The Bachelorette and the betrayals and this and that, you know, and the sneaky mechanisms of Survivor and this and that and the other, you know, like all of these, you know, intrigue and all of that crap, you're feeding yourself those feelings of fear, of anxiety, of trauma, of stress, okay? You're feeding that to yourself on a subliminal level. Why not watch the nature show? I mean, and even the nature shows have gotten really violent and crazy since I was a kid. Have you noticed that? I'm just saying. But it's all about what you're feeding yourself, okay? Not only physically, what are you putting into your mouth, but what are you watching? You know, what are you listening to, okay? And again, what are you listening to? Are you listening to your intuition and your higher self? Or are you listening to that ego and that naysayer in your head that has been programmed by other people who aren't actually you? All right, my phoenixes, that is the chat rant. That is the story time for today, is that we want to release you from that prison, okay? We want to help you release you from that prison. And that, you know, is what I do here. And that's why I created this group and I make these videos and I offer myself in service, because this is my life's work. Little did I know, the whole time I have been being prepared for this life's work is to help women and men too, but women are sometimes easier to get to on the emotional, spiritual level, is to help you all that are waking up and you're realizing that you're angry and you're anxious and you're stressed and you're depressed and you've got unexplained PTSD, which I went through for a very long time. And there is such a thing as past life PTSD, and that is a whole nother topic. But I'm just saying, you're wondering why you're going through all of this stuff, you know, when your life on the outside is great. You know, you got the house, you got the kids, you got the thing, you did the job, you know, you supposedly have all these things that, you know, when you have them, you know, is supposed to be the American dream. But yet you hate your life and your life sucks and you feel like shit. Why? One of the many reasons that is very much contributing to this is what we are constantly putting in our energy field as far as what we are watching and what we are listening to. And again, watching and listening to, okay? So if you want to be able to start changing your world and start changing your life and actually actively, intelligently redesigning your experience here on planet Earth, pay attention to what you're watching. Pay attention to the radio and the news that you listen to, okay? Is it all drama? Is it all manufactured, nasty, terrible train wreck nastiness? Or is it not? Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love having these chats with you. Again, if there is anything that you want me to talk about, leave it down in the comments. If you're on YouTube, please feel free to leave it down in the comments as well. I will see them. And I am so grateful to be here in this position, to be any part of anyone's awakening journey. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is Daniela of Redesign Your Life Forever, and I will see you next time.